Right now at 5, one person is rescued from a burning home in Joplin.
And we've got clear skies out there again today. Clouds increasing, still warm. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, top Trump officials brief lawmakers on military strikes that killed 8 people on alleged drug boats.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
Chris Porter, it's Wednesday, December the 17th. Happy Wednesday, halfway through this week. And now what's 8 days from Christmas.
8 days. That's a scary number.
7 days of shopping left. We have a week from now. Everything's going to be closing up early. So hopefully you've got everything done that you need to get done. We are following some breaking news out of Joplin this morning. There's a large police presence near 50th and Main, near that Maverick gas station down there. We do have a crew on scene, and we will of course keep you updated through the morning as information comes in on that. And we have some warm weather to get through today. Not bad at all. And I don't want to show you the extended forecast because we're point where we're seeing Christmas. You're not going to like it. Not at all.
I'm guessing not a white Christmas.
Not even close, unless you've got one of those snow machines or something. But first, we got to get through Wednesday. We're going to start with a live look from downtown Pittsburgh, and it looks pretty good so far this morning. Again, we have the clear skies again. As mentioned, skies cleared out last night, and that's exactly what happened. We're looking good from 7th and Range Line in Joplin. Heading over to the KDOT camera, 69 at 400. Looking along 171, and last but not least, the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Again, pretty empty out there. Of course, it doesn't take long for folks to begin to show up as we get this Wednesday commute underway. Still pretty chilly this morning. Most of us still above normal, but it is still cold. 36 is warmer than average, but still cold temperature. And we're at 30 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures around the region look like this. We do have some of us close to or even a bit below normal this morning. Sedan, for example, you're at 26. Same in Neodesha and Chanute, Yates Center and Fort Scott at 29. Again, that's about where our average low is. So, and even Parsons, Neodesha, Chanute, Sedan, you're not that far below normal. You're only a degree or so off pace, so not bad. Most of us out to the east, though, low to mid 30s, and you look at Bentonville, Cassville, both into the 40s. Cassville, the warm spot right now, 41 degrees. Again, clouds are going to begin increasing once again, like what we saw yesterday, and they will continue to do so as we head through the afternoon and into the evening. Eventually, will become cloudy. We're going to have south winds at 5 to 10, but they're also going to begin to pick up late this evening into tomorrow. In fact, we have some wind advisories for parts of southeast Kansas heading into tomorrow morning into the evening. We'll go over that with you in just a moment. Kids heading out the door this morning, about 40 degrees, 56 as they head for lunch and recess, 57 as they head home. Remember, tonight's the night where temperatures kind of flatten out. So we'll go mid-40s by 9. We'll reach the mid to upper 50s, some low 60s down south, not out of the question. But as we head into the evening, temperatures may bounce up and down a degree or two, but for the most part, we're going to be staying right about the low to mid-50s. And then tomorrow, believe it or not, we'll warm up after midnight by a little bit ahead of the cold front. The temperatures will drop. We've got those rain chances and very gusty winds on the way. We'll go over those details with you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. A house fire on South Pearl Street in Joplin yesterday forced the closure of West 7th to allow fire crews to access a hydrant. Thick smoke was visible from nearly a mile away. Witnesses say a man with a ladder helped rescue a teenager trapped on a second-floor balcony. One person suffered smoke inhalation and was transported to the hospital. Fire investigators said the fire was accidental and originated in the kitchen near the stove. Well, an accident halted traffic in Castro Valley when a car flew off a tow truck, crashed through a fence, and landed on the BART tracks, causing hours of dozens of delays and leaving dozens of riders stranded. Crews used a crane to remove the car after nearly 3 hours, but multiple drivers faced long waits and soaring rideshare prices. BART partially reopened with single track service, while crews continued overnight repairs, with no estimate yet on when normal operations will resume. Well, the Trump administration is defending attacks on alleged Venezuelan drug boats. The military has carried out more than 24 attacks, but there are questions about the legality of the action. Erica Brown has more details from Capitol Hill.
Will members eventually be able to see the Top Trump administration officials briefed lawmakers on Capitol Hill Tuesday about U.S. military operations targeting alleged drug boats, including recent strikes on 3 boats in the Pacific that killed 8.
Provided a lot of information, obviously classified, so I can't share it with you, but obviously some will agree, some will disagree, but it's important we keep Congress informed.
But some lawmakers were dissatisfied with the briefing and continue to question the legality of the strikes.
We're all in favor of stopping the flow of narcotics, cocaine and fentanyl, but there are ways to do it without killing in this kind of combatant situation.
Others suggested U.S. actions against Venezuela don't go far enough. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina says he wants to see Venezuela's leader Nicolas Maduro ousted.
You cannot allow this man to be standing after this display of force, and I did not get a very good answer as to what happens next.
The briefings come amid the ongoing scrutiny over a lethal second strike on a suspected drug boat carried out after those on board survived the first strike. Now lawmakers are pushing for the release of the full footage of that deadly September 2nd strike.
The administration came to this briefing empty-handed.
Administration officials say only members of the House and Senate Armed Services Committees will be shown footage of that second strike.
We're not going to release a top secret, full unedited video of that to the general public.
President Trump has threatened more U.S. military action in Venezuela, saying strikes on land targets will begin soon. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
California Senator Adam Schiff announced he plans to put forth a unanimous consent request, which would force the administration to publicly release the September 2nd video, but is unlikely to pass as any senator can object and the motion will go nowhere. Well, Southeast School District board members voted to close a century-old building in Weir, Kansas. The main building of the elementary school came under close scrutiny earlier this year after water damage caused mold problems. Structural inspections revealed additional concerns throughout the facility, with potential repairs pricing up to at least $750,000, an amount the district says they cannot afford to pay. The current grade arrangements will remain in place, with pre-K through 2nd grade remaining in adjacent buildings on current elementary school grounds. Well, the Tiger Activity Center in Carthage hosted mock interviews for their tech seniors yesterday. While the Carthage High School has done a smaller version of this for years, this was the first year they invited more businesses to join. The session serves to help seniors get a better understanding of professional interviews and how to make that good first impression.
I was actually very impressed with the kids who have come through here. A lot of them are professionally dressed, they are prepared, they speak well, they have great eye contact, and so those kids make great additions to our internships at Specialty Risk, but also once they get out of school, just a full-time opportunity for them.
The interviewers had a list of questions prepared for the students, but they also took the time to have one-on-one conversations to get to know their interests and what the students hope for their future. Well, Hispanic Heritage Month has come and gone, but the celebration continues as one local Carthage student is being recognized for her writing. Indakua Beckham earns a prize after taking part in Optimum's Hispanic Heritage Month essay contest, writing about a historic figure who inspired her and reflects the impact of Hispanic culture. City leaders say events like this highlight the importance of celebrating Hispanic heritage locally. Well, Joplin City Manager fires back in a heated dispute with the outreach group Hopeful Bites. The city says it wants to help the group continue serving meals to people in need, but city ordinances must be followed. KOM's Blake Goley has the story.
Our intent was to partner and collaborate with them, right? We want Hopeful Bites to be successful in their work. It's great work.
Great work the volunteer outreach group is doing serving community members in need meals currently outside City Hall. The city manager of Joplin says the city has worked to create paths for Hopeful Bites to continue serving the community, but adds that the city ordinances must still be followed.
There are better locations that don't interfere with the trolley stop, the loading and unloading of passengers from the trolley, and don't impede the sidewalks from people trying to access City Hall. And then there's also the food issues and being able to serve that safely so we're not getting people sick.
I'm standing in the parking lot behind City Hall
in an area in which the city manager says has been offered to Hopeful Bites if they want to continue their outreach in downtown Joplin.
One of our thoughts was maybe they could use a section of the City Hall parking lot directly connected to City Hall, where people could come and gather the food that they needed.
But Hopeful Bites says the conversation needs to go beyond location, arguing the city must rethink how it addresses poverty and homelessness in the community.
My goal would be to get them to make a drastic change on how they are handling certain issues related to poverty in this community.
The volunteer group says they've been contacted by several organizations for assistance moving forward, options they say they are currently reviewing. Reporting in Joplin, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
Well, city officials say they remain open to continued conversations with the group, but stress the importance of safety moving forward. Well, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News.
The son of acclaimed director Rob Reiner is now facing murder charges. I'm Gwen Baumgartner with the very latest on the investigation and when Nick Reiner could face a judge.
Plus, Christina Aguilera celebrates 25 years of holiday music with a Christmas special filmed in Paris. And gusty winds with a chance of showers. Chris has a look at your weekly forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, prosecutors announced the youngest son of film director Rob Reiner will be charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the weekend killings of his parents and could face the death penalty. As Gwen Baumgartner reports, this comes as more details are emerging about his behavior in the night before the murders.
Los Angeles prosecutors announced Tuesday film director Rob Reiner's son Nick will be charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the killing of his parents.
Today I'm here to announce that our office will be filing charges against Nick Reiner, who is accused of killing his parents, actor-director Rob Reiner, and photographer-producer Michelle Singer Reiner. These charges will be 2 counts of first-degree murder with the special circumstance of multiple murders.
Nick Reiner will also be charged with the use of a deadly weapon. Reiner was not in court on Tuesday for medical reasons.
Once he is medically cleared, he will be brought to court to be arraigned on these charges.
Reiner was last seen with his parents Saturday night at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party. 2 sources there say the family argued. One telling People magazine, Nick was freaking everyone out, acting crazy, kept asking people if they were famous. The following afternoon, Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were found stabbed to death in their Brentwood home. Nick was arrested Sunday night. He has retained defense attorney Alan Jackson. Jackson previously represented Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, and Karen Reed. If Nick Reiner is found guilty of the current charges, he faces life in prison without parole or the death penalty. Prosecutors have not decided whether they will seek the death penalty.
This case is heartbreaking and deeply personal, not only for the Reiner family and their loved ones, but for our entire city. We extend our deepest condolences to all of those who were affected by this tragedy.
Nick Reiner is being held without bail. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That's our top story and Nation Watch. Well, still to come, avid readers become a dying breed as Americans lose out on reading health benefits. Plus, gusty winds with a chance of showers. Chris has a look at your Thursday forecast. A psychological thriller featuring Sydney Sweeney premieres this week and a new holiday special for Christmas week. CBS's Christian Benavides has that and more on today's Eye on Entertainment.
A holiday special hosted by Christina Aguilera will feature special performances of her holiday classics and greatest hits. Christina Aguilera, Christmas in Paris, will be filmed in front of an intimate audience with the Eiffel Tower as the backdrop. The special will also mark the 25th anniversary of her holiday album, My Kind of Christmas. You can watch the special Monday at 9 on CBS or stream on Paramount+. Get ready for a new season of the hit Netflix show Emily in Paris. Actress Lily Collins, who plays Emily Cooper, says this season the show traveled outside of France to Italy.
Nothing could prepare me for its beauty. Everyone was so warm and inviting. The food was amazing. We got so lucky with the weather. and it was the perfect backdrop for our show.
You can stream all episodes of Season 5 starting tomorrow, and Sydney Sweeney stars alongside Amanda Seyfried and Brandon Sklenar in the new movie The Housemaid.
Millie's gonna be living with us.
She's gonna live with us.
Andrew, I told you that.
Sweeney plays a young, destitute woman who finds work as a living maid for an affluent couple.
You're going to be screaming at the screen, you're going to be laughing, you're going to be crying.
The psychological thriller is based on the 2022 novel of the same name.
Everything that happens is very earned, and the way you feel at the end will be I think, cellularly shifted in the best way. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's something that you're going to want to talk about.
Housemaid hits theaters Friday. That's your eye on entertainment. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Certainly some things to look forward to. Well, now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Again, another somewhat cold start out there for some of us, a little below average, many of us above average. We have that cold front coming in early tomorrow morning. Temperatures are going to drop behind it. Winds increase as well. Maybe a few showers. We'll break down the details when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now is 5:21 rather. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:23 now on this Wednesday morning, and we are, of course, halfway through the work week. We have another warm day out there for us. Clouds will increase again, just like yesterday. We're clear now, but here in the next hour or two, we'll start to see clouds building in. This time, not just from the southwest, they'll be rolling in from the south. We'll have south winds as well at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Cloudy skies, future track hinting at maybe an isolated sprinkle or two under some of these clouds, but really any rain chances during the day today are very, very low. What we're looking at is maybe an isolated shower from around 10 o'clock or so. Heading into the overnight, south winds begin increasing. They'll start gusting upwards of 35, maybe even 40 miles an hour at times, and then they will continue to increase. Now, we still have the two possible scenarios for tomorrow morning with this front. So this is 5 a.m. Here's that front. It's now just beyond Yates Center. It's just about right over Chanute, Fredonia, stretching back into Chautauqua County. And we could still get some extra showers. Would be nice to see this. We need some of that rain. Could get a thunderstorm or two. It's something we'll keep an eye on. But again, we have that other scenario where instead of seeing as much rain as what you're seeing here tomorrow morning, we just end up with a few isolated showers. And one way or the other, at least some of us will see some rain activity. It's just a question as to whether or not we'll get it as widespread as we're seeing on the future track right now. And I want to tell you too, right now, there is only one computer model that is showing this scenario. The others right now are showing isolated showers at best, but as we've discussed 100 times in the past, sometimes that one is the one that's right and the others have it wrong. So that's why we're going to still at least show it. The front pushes through. On the backside, northwest winds really begin to ramp up as we head through Thursday morning and into the afternoon. So as temperatures drop, they won't plummet, but it's going to feel like it. Sky's clear, the sun comes out, but these winds, in some cases, could be gusting upwards of 50, 55 miles an hour in some places. And so that's why it's going to feel a lot colder. And with that said, remember, criteria for wind gusts for a severe thunderstorm warning is greater than 58 miles an hour. Some of our northern counties may be pretty close to that criteria, so that's how windy it's going to be as we head into that. With that said, starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we have these wind advisories that'll go through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Now, for up here, this is the Topeka Weather Office. This is where they're saying those winds could gust 55 miles an hour or so. Wichita office for the rest of southeast Kansas here is suggesting those winds could gust as high as 50 miles an hour. We do not have any wind advisories outside of that zone right now, but I'm telling you, the winds don't suddenly run into a wall and they ease up once they get beyond that advisory. We're looking at gusty winds across the entire region through tonight, as they pick up ahead of the front out of the south, and then tomorrow, especially through the late morning into the afternoon, it's going to be very windy. As for today, though, we're looking to start about 40 or so by 8. We'll be in the low 50s by 11 o'clock this morning. Our highs today, upper 50s, some low 60s possible. Temperatures, as I mentioned, they just kind of level out and then they start warming about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning when those south winds start ramping up. We go into the upper 50s, near 60 ahead of the front. Temperatures will begin to drop behind the front, eventually into the mid-20s. Overnight, we're back near normal on Friday, and then we are otherwise pretty mild, and that's why I was telling you, take a look at Christmas Eve and Christmas. Yeah, that's not looking very Christmas-like at all. Lows into the 50s, highs into the mid-60s. So unfortunately, as Sam mentioned earlier, no snowfall on the horizon. Very warm temperatures, though, for this time of year. That's a check of your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Samantha with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has adopted new guidance for hepatitis B vaccines for babies. Tuesday, the CDC signed off on the recommendation of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. The agency will now recommend shared decision-making between healthcare providers and mothers who test negative for the virus, instead of recommending babies be given the first vaccine dose at birth. Some health experts say the new approach will create confusion that could have serious consequences, but a member on the agency's vaccine panel noted the new guidance is intended to give parents the choice. Well, do you have any good books on your holiday list this year? A recent survey shows less people are reading for fun in the U.S. Researchers say it's concerning since reading can have a significant impact on your health and well-being. Jared Hill has more.
Keandra Freeman says there's nothing like getting lost in a good book.
I think reading is very intimate.
Avid readers, once a dime a dozen, now apparently a dying breed among American adults.
If you're engrossed in the adulting life, then you don't really have time for yourself, and reading is a pleasure for self.
Over the past 20 years, reading for pleasure is down 40% among Americans 15 and older, according to a University of Florida survey. Study author Dr. Jill Sankey says the drop is concerning.
Other studies have shown associations between reading for pleasure and impacts on health, like improved well-being, relaxation, stress reduction, mental health, and even empathy.
While the study didn't look at why fewer people are reading, researchers suggest it's likely due to a number of factors, including less leisure time, the rise in digital media, and less access to bookstores and libraries.
I would have to schedule time to read versus it's a lot easier to just pick up your phone and look on social media.
While the decline in reading for fun may not come as a surprise, Dr. Sankey says the small number of parents who report reading to their kids is quite shocking. Just 2%.
It's important to reading readiness and early education readiness. Reading with kids is also a really important form of bonding, which is really important to health.
She stresses reading is one of the simplest devices in our public health toolkit and encourages more people to find a good page turner to get back into books. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, the spirit of Christmas fills Lincoln Center as Pittsburgh Parks and Recreation hosts their Holiday Crafters Workshop.
And we've got clear skies to start. However, clouds increasing and temperatures, of course, staying well above average. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, we meet a Joplin family who has felt the difference the Toy Box Toy Drive has made for their holiday season.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:33. I'm Samantha Walker.
Hi, Chris Warner. It is now Wednesday, December the 17th.
Yes, and we do have some breaking news out of Joplin that we mentioned earlier at the top of the show about a large police presence near the Mavericks gas station. We're following that breaking news. We did have a team on scene this morning following a police pursuit. Now, authorities tell us a Joplin police officer attempted to pull over who they suspected was a DWI driver near 26th and Main this morning. The officers followed the vehicle to 41st and Main and then initiated a pursuit.
Officials say that those speeds in that pursuit reached up to about 100 miles an hour. Now, a vehicle crashed out near Glendale, and as an officer approached, the suspect was able to start driving again. The police officer opened fire at the suspect's vehicle. He took off, and then the pursuit ended near 50th and Main, near that Maverick gas station. An adult male has been taken into custody and transported to an area hospital. He's suffering a non-life-threatening gunshot wound, and so investigators are on the scene. They're arriving now. They will continue to get more information about this, and of course we'll keep you updated here on the KOAM Morning News and on KOAMNewsNow.com as well with the latest information as it continues to come in.
Yes, it is a story we'll continue to follow. Like I said, we still have a team on that scene as well, seeing what's happening there.
And indeed we do. So we'll be keeping you updated, and as we head through the morning, and of course, well, so we're going to keep you updated on the weather because another very warm day out there for us today. We're going to start with our live look from downtown Pittsburgh, where skies again are clear for the time being. They will not remain that way though. Like yesterday, it won't take much longer before clouds will get increasing from the south, and as they do so, that's really about it. Could get an isolated sprinkle or two, which I'll show you on the future track in just a moment. KDOT cameras looking around the region. Again, things so far look pretty good from all the different cameras out there, and again, pretty quiet in most parts of the city and most parts of our area, at least for the time being. And it's still cold. I know the 30s are cold. They're not warm, but they are above average. Our average low is right around 28, 29, and we are, most of us, at least above that. Some of us not so much, but some of us a little more above average. 36 Joplin, 30 in Pittsburgh. And look at those temperatures. Now, off to the north and west, it is a little colder. We've got some mid-upper 20s, so some of you are pretty close to normal. The cold spot is back to Sedan again at 24. I'm thinking of the warm spots. And that would be Cassville and Bentonville, both sitting at 41. So further south and east you go, it does get a little bit warmer out there. As the clouds increase, again, we'll have south winds out there, initially 5 to 10, but by late evening into the overnight, they'll begin increasing with gusts up to 35. And as you saw on future track, an isolated sprinkle or two is possible as we head through the evening, but nothing expected in terms of any widespread coverage. We could get an isolated shower or two, though, around 10 o'clock tonight or so before we have a few more shower chances into tomorrow morning. Kids out the door this morning, about 40, and we'll be into the mid-50s for lunch and recess, upper 50s at 57 as they head home. Today, again, because we're going to start off so warm, I want to tell you something about this with our temperatures this evening. So we'll be about mid-40s by 9, mid-50s by noon, mid to upper 50s where our highs are headed. Some low 60s not out of the question. Now, once we get later into the evening, temperatures kind of flatten out. They may go up or down a degree or two, but they'll hang around the same spot until about 1 a.m. and temperatures will start to warm ahead of our cold front tomorrow morning, which will lead to our early highs, and then they'll fall back behind that. We have some very gusty winds back behind that front as well. Details and all that in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The spirit of Christmas filled the Lincoln Center yesterday as the Pittsburgh Parks and Recreation Department hosted their annual Holiday Crafters Workshop. Participants created snowman-themed crafts, designed Christmas designs, and made special gifts for loved ones while enjoying hot cocoa and cookies. Well, every year, KOAM's Toy Box Toy Drive campaign helps to put toys under the tree of some less fortunate families. Simply put, we couldn't do it without the work of our small army of volunteers. Year after year, some of those volunteers come from Miss Daisy's Home and Decor. Thanks to your donations, they were able to fill shopping carts with toys for many children in the 4 states, from Legos to stuffed animals and everything in between. For the folks at Miss Daisy's Home and Decor, giving back is a true labor of love. Well, Abernathy Roofing has also been filling those shopping carts with Christmas cheer for our Toy Box campaign for years, and this year was no different. For the roofing company, the motivation to give back is the same. Well, thanks to KOAM's Toy Box campaign, many underprivileged children will be able to have a gift this holiday season. KOAM's Kenny Foreman introduces us to a Toy Box family in Joplin who appreciate the generosity of the community.
I got shoes on and
This Christmas, 4-year-old Lonnie has at least one item on his wish list.
got these wheels at Christmas. I got my dump truck and my campus, another dump truck and my Christmas. I drive it all the way home.
But even a Lego dump truck wasn't always a guarantee for Taylor Romero and her family due to financial struggles.
My husband had lost his job, and then it took us a little minute to find another one and get back on our feet. And I'm in college full-time, so on top of that, raising 3 kids and trying to have a job and be in college full-time is harder than it seems.
Thanks to Taylor's friend, she got connected with Toy Box, which is paving the way for a Christmas they can all remember.
We've been, unfortunately, in a very bad financial situation, so honestly, they're the reason that my kids can have Christmas this year, which is definitely a joy for all of us, especially the littles.
And after not always having a Christmas she could dream of, she's thankful for all the support during the season of giving.
My kids wouldn't have Christmas this year, and he's at an age where he can actually remember it now. And I remember that there were times where we couldn't necessarily afford a grand special Christmas, and having the kindness of others to kind of help us do that really made my childhood better and different.
In Joplin, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. AI use at work jumps to 45% of employees, according to a new Gallup survey. Plus, the job market stalls as companies pull back on hiring. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, a new Gallup survey finds a growing number of Americans are using artificial intelligence at work. The survey shows between the second and third quarters of 2025, the amount of employees using AI at work increased from 40 to 45%. The survey also shows 23% of respondents say they frequently use AI. That's a 4% increase during the same period. Gallup says employees who work in knowledge-based jobs are more likely to use AI. More than 23,000 Americans were surveyed from August 5th to August 19th for the results. Well, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics just released the November job report. It includes some delayed October data because of the government shutdown. The numbers show a mixed picture. Job growth picked up, but the unemployment rate rose. CBS's Kelly O'Grady is at the New York Stock Exchange to break it down.
A multi-month jobs report offers mixed signals for the U.S. economy. In November, employers added 64,000 jobs, down from September, but still beating expectations. A partial look at October, delayed by the government shutdown, showed a loss of 105,000 jobs, driven largely by federal workers who accepted buyouts.
I think there's really no other way to slice and dice this than to say the nation's unemployment rate is rising and jobs creation is lackluster if present at all. And that means that the job market is essentially flat.
Bankrate senior economist Mark Hamrick says the biggest concern is the unemployment rate, which rose to 4.6%, the highest since 2021.
We're losing economic activity here at the end of 2025.
November saw job gains in healthcare and construction, while some other sectors saw declines. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says labor market trends are changing.
There are signs that the labor market is shifting, that a lot of companies are not hiring with gusto. Maybe it's due to the uncertainty of the tariffs. Maybe it is due to just generalized anxiety about which jobs are going to be remaining after AI takes hold. We don't know.
Hamrick hopes hiring, which he calls ground zero for the economy's health, can rebound quickly.
Looking ahead to the new year, there are some reasons to be optimistic for a better showing for the U.S. economy. It may not be off to the races, but for, among other things, we are having lower short-term interest rates.
The Federal Reserve voted to cut interest rates last week without this data. Now, these new numbers could give some members pause as they weigh the labor market and inflation when considering any rate changes in 2026. At the New York Stock Exchange, Kelly O'Grady, CBS News.
That's it for Consumer Watch, and now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got those clouds getting ready to push into the area. We've got the gusty winds building in overnight, and we are keeping an eye on some shower chances. Details when we come back.
A school lunch option could soon be available to your children. An update in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. Whole milk may soon be available at your child's school. Both houses of Congress have now approved the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act. The legislation reverses a 2012 policy that limited school milk options to fat-free and 1%. Now, the move has drawn praise from dairy industry leaders who say it reflects both the importance of milk in children's diets and the power of sustained advocacy. The bill now awaits the president's signature. It could go into effect as early as the next school year. USDA asked for feedback on its proposed reorganization and it has now released a report about what people had to say. And the agency says overall, the majority of comments were negative. The agency announced over the summer a plan to relocate 2,600 employees from Washington, D.C. to 5 regional hubs to achieve $4 billion in savings. Secretary Brooke Rollins has said this would get offices closer to farm country to better serve agriculture. And look for Whole Foods to take a bigger role in reducing food waste. Axios reporting the grocer will be installing technology that will turn fruit and vegetable scraps into chicken feed. That feed will then help produce Whole Foods' own eggs. A startup called Mill coming up with the bins that use AI that it says can cut waste by up to 80%. Now look for the bins to be at Whole Foods stores by 2027. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Now here's Chris Warner with a look at your forecast.
We are going to have clouds begin to increase across the area, and we are going to start with our future track where you'll see those clouds out there. As I mentioned, future track is hinting at maybe a sprinkle under these clouds. Any rain chances during the daytime hours are going to be extraordinarily low. But these clouds increase just like yesterday. Well, eventually, the only difference is it's going to be less mostly cloudy skies, more straight up cloudy skies, especially as we roll late afternoon into the evening hours. And we will not clear again overnight tonight like we've done the last couple of nights, like we've done overnight last night into now. Now, we could get some isolated showers very early tomorrow morning. Could get a couple around 10 o'clock tonight as well. They'll be very isolated. We're still looking at those two potential scenarios. One, which ignore this time for a minute. One scenario is something like this at about 5, 6 a.m. and then it's over. It's done as the front pushes through. The other scenario is the other one I'm about to show you, which showed up yesterday, but only one of the computers is suggesting that scenario. But as we talked about earlier, sometimes that one computer is the one that has it right. Not always, but sometimes. So by 5 a.m. tomorrow, here's that cold front right over Fredonia, Chanute, stretching across the area. So Yates Center, Burlington, Eureka, you are all behind it by 5 a.m. Everyone else is ahead of it. Now, if scenario number one, which is the one that you see here, which would be the nice one, plays out, have some showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder, nothing strong, nothing severe, but we'd get more much needed rain. If scenario number 2 plays out, then this rain go back to what we saw at 1 a.m. tomorrow morning with just a few isolated showers. That's what we'll have, and then it'll exit. So we're certainly hoping for more rain. I know it's not fun to be out in, but we do need it. The other thing we're going to have is ahead of the front, overnight tonight, after about midnight, 1 a.m., winds are going to begin increasing from the south, gusting upwards of about 35 miles an hour or so. Behind this front, though, by mid to late morning, as wind arrows really ramp up. And we are looking at wind gusts across the region upwards, in some cases, of 55 miles an hour out of the northwest. Remember, for a severe thunderstorm warning, winds of 60 or greater are the criteria for severe thunderstorm warnings. Obviously, no storms. Skies clear out. It's sunny. It's just that's how windy it's going to be. So it could cause its own problems out there, and it will remain windy until we get into the late evening hours on our Thursday, when those winds will begin to ease up just a bit out of the northwest. So with that in mind, we do have wind advisories in southeast Kansas that'll start tomorrow at 9 a.m. and run through tomorrow at 6. Now, the Topeka Weather Office covers right here, these 3 counties. This one is the one where the Topeka Weather Office says those winds could gust upwards of 55. Wichita covers the rest of this, and they say that those winds could gust to 50. So it's a huge difference. Now, there aren't wind advisories beyond that yet, but also bear in mind, it's not as though Mother Nature is going to erect a brick wall around this wind advisory, and once you cross the county line, it all of a sudden stops. We are looking at gusty winds across the region. The further east we are, those winds may peak at 45 miles an hour, but either way, a very windy day for our Thursday. So if you're driving a high-profile vehicle or anything like that, you need to be really careful. And even the smaller vehicles, 50, 55 mile an hour wind gusts will knock those around a bit too, and could cause havoc with the trees a bit. All right, today though, we start partly cloudy, around 40, go into the low 50s by 11 a.m. Our highs today into the mid to upper 50s, couple of low 60s down south, not out of the question. Like I said, south winds 5 to 10. Our temperatures, once the clouds move in, level out. They stop moving. They could go up or down a degree or two, but we should stop. Isolated shower to it around 10, 11. A few more isolated showers overnight, as we showed you, and those south winds start gusting to 35. They really ramp up tomorrow. Any rain we have does move out. These temperatures, believe it or not, they will warm after 1 a.m. When those south winds ramp up, temperatures will begin warming early tomorrow morning to where our highs will be. And then after about 7 a.m., depending on where you are and where that front is, temperatures will begin to drop. And while they don't plummet, those winds are going to make it feel like they're plummeting. We're back down into the mid-20s, near average Friday. And unfortunately for Christmas, as you can see, very warm, very spring-like almost, going into the low to mid-60s. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this. All right, again, we're going to start near 40. Some of you a little cooler this morning, but eventually in the low 50s out there. Partly cloudy skies as those clouds begin to increase from the south. Mostly cloudy into the afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 50s. Down south, a low 60 or 2 is still possible. And we'll have south winds 5 to 10. Now, later in the evening, we'll start to have the south winds ramp up. It'll probably be after midnight before they do so. Clouds thicken up. Locks our temperatures in. The south winds help lock these temperatures in initially so they don't move much for our lows. And those winds gusting to 35. Once we get past 1 a.m., those winds pick up out of the south. Our temperatures after 1 a.m. will actually start climbing to what our highs are going to be for Thursday. So this upper 50s, that's going to be, for some of you, Yates Center, for example, the front will be already through your area by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that 57 will probably be a high recorded at, say, 2 or 3 a.m. And then temperatures will begin to fall. Now, the good news is, again, looking at the data, temperatures won't plummet through the day, which is good, but they will drop, and we're back into the mid-20s overnight. The other thing, of course, a few morning showers possible, perhaps a rumble of thunder, but we have the gusty winds, and across the region, those winds will range out of the northwest with gusts from anywhere, I'd say from about 45 to 55 miles an hour. So that's something else you need to take seriously, because even though the temperatures don't plummet, those winds are going to make it feel a lot colder. By Friday, we're near normal. We start warming up again into the weekend. Unfortunately, no white Christmas for us. In fact, it's more like a spring break Christmas as temperatures climb into the low to mid 60s. Let's check your forecast. Got another hour of the KOAM morning news right after this.